Hit them switches.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Game by Show podcast for June the 13th, 2022. My name is LeGrand Jolly. This evening, back, guys. He's back.
This
is the moment. This is the Monday y'all have been waiting for. Jeremy Lamont. Hello.
Hey, guys. I am bringing that big 3 a.m. energy right now.
My body is for this moment.
My body is absolutely convinced that it's in the future by about 10 hours, and I'm bringing it to you.
How long have you been back here yet now?
Since Saturday afternoon, so like a day and a half.
Oh, so it's only been like a couple days.
Yeah, and
48 hours.
And I thought I had gotten over it too. Like I lost my Saturday. I actually got in early on Saturday, about 11 a.m. and I passed out 3 different times. And I was sure it wasn't going to happen to me. I was sure. And so then when I got past it, I was like, oh man, that was a rough Saturday. Well, let's get going. And I actually just getting ready for this. I was, trying to play some video games and stuff, and
falling asleep playing video games.
I fell asleep, but the thing is that I kind of came to a little bit, and I had no idea where I was. Like, you know how sometimes it happens, except I deeply didn't know where I was. I'm like, what planet am I actually on? and I don't know why. Like, this is I don't want to make it sound worse than it is, but like this is probably the hardest I've jet lagged like ever. And like right now, as this is happening, I'm looking at you on youtube.com/GameBytesShow with like, I'm just thunderstruck. I just have no idea.
I've had some of that. The transoceanic jet lag it can kill you.
Yeah. And I had
Something
much
else.
worse coming back than going, which has really caught me off guard. So that's who I am today. That's what I'm bringing to you. That's how this podcast is going to be. So I'm actually letting LeGrand run it, and I'm just going to sit here like a dazed puppy.
I was like, I get a week off. I've had 2 weeks in a row. I've had to do this on my own. I'm with Dale and Jared.
I'm going to sit here and watch.
Usually
you guys.
Jeremy runs this business. Like I talk at the beginning, and then Jeremy just runs things.
You pull my cord, and I'm just like.
So I was waiting. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like finally, Jeremy's back. I can chill.
Nope.
Jeremy's just gonna run this, and now Jeremy's like, yo,
wait, vampire
I'm just gonna rest my eyes.
Jeremy is Dr. Vampire with a Y in this show.
Dude, yeah, it's okay. It's okay, man. Listen,
it's good.
We have a fantastic show prepared for you today.
Yes, that's true.
Of all days.
Action-packed.
Happy PlayStation Plus Premium Day, everyone.
I've got to look
in
and
North
see.
America.
I've got to look and see if I'm upgraded. I'm not sure, but I've got about a hot week left on my PlayStation Plus. This is the first time that I've had to renew it since like I had it stacked many years, and now I've got to figure out what I'm going to do about it, and I actually don't know.
I logged on, and it was like, yo, your PlayStation Plus, whatever I had, basic PlayStation Plus, essential, I think was whatever they call it. It expired like October 22nd. So that was the last time I upped, was last October, I guess.
Oh, wow.
And so instead of saying, okay, you got to buy a year of PlayStation Plus Super Edition, it was like, no, it's going to cost you $20 to have PlayStation Plus Ultra Edition until October 22nd when your PlayStation Plus is up for whatever. So it prorated me for the time I had left, which is fantastic because I don't know if I need all that old stuff, right? It looks like it's fine, but I'm probably going to be good with the $100 plan, not the $120 plan. Yeah. But it gives me an opportunity to at least check it out for $20 extra a month. So I did just that, or $20 extra for the next, what is that, 3 months? July, almost 4 months I have for $20, which is crazy. So that's great. So I actually paid that money and downloaded Ghost of Tsushima. I downloaded Returnal, and I downloaded a game called Intelligent Cube. Have you guys heard of this game?
Oh yeah, I know that.
I have. Is it with a cube?
I don't know.
Oh really? I'm pretty sure it's better.
So this is a game that is it was a PlayStation 1 game, and this is a game that I had a demo disc from somewhere, like a PlayStation magazine or something, and they had like a couple levels of this game Intelligent Cube on this demo disc, but it was such a random game that it was never at any rental place. Nobody ever had it for sale anywhere. And back then when you couldn't acquire stuff because there was no online shopping and there was no nothing, it was a game that I never played, but I was in love with the demo. I played the demo over and over and over again on the PlayStation 1. And so when I first saw the list of what games were coming to this PlayStation Ultra Edition, I was like, holy shit, like that's that game. Like I was so excited. And so that was the first thing, one of the first things I downloaded when I subbed to this PlayStation Plus, whatever, $120 edition. Yeah. Anyway, I played it for about, I was working today and I took a break and played it for like 15 or 20 minutes. And I had to kind of relearn it and figure out exactly what it was doing and how the mechanics worked. But man, it's a puzzle game with these blocks that kind of are rolling over towards you. It's a really weird, doesn't look like it would be any interesting at all. And you actually play like this little avatar that runs around on these blocks and marks blocks and they disappear. And it's a puzzle game of sorts with some action components where you're actually controlling a character. And I haven't played it too much, and I don't want to talk too much about it today. However, and I don't think there's much to say about it anyways, but it's a really, really cool game that I always wanted to play and never, ever could until today. And we're talking like 25 years of backlog that I wanted to play this game. And thanks to the power of PlayStation Plus Ultra Edition.
It's like wizardry.
Yeah, I'm playing this game for the first time today. And it actually downloads and runs
wishes
natively.
on day one. Can you eat that game pass?
PlayStation 1 stuff so this PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 stuff, and I believe PSP stuff, all runs native on the PS5, I think. I think it's just the PS3 stuff that requires streaming. Which, by the way, I could not get to work. I tried it on Gravity Rush 2, just to stream it. Just like an xCloud, you can like say, hey, play this, download this, or stream it, And it actually wouldn't even fire up and run. So I got to try it again. I think it might be because my connection, because I'm just running on wireless connection on the PS5. So I think I might have to run a cable and try it out. But
they probably have so many what was the place? I can't even remember what it's called. The PS3.
The cell processor.
Was it the cell? The emotion engine was PS2. I think it was
the cell processor.
Oh yeah, the cell processor.
They've got some data bank somewhere where they've got just this. It's the Matrix. They've got people plugged in or something because you cannot emulate that cell processor somehow.
I heard something about like the U.S. military like buying up all the PS3s to run some supercomputer. Is that some urban legend or is that something?
I don't know.
Thought it was Saddam who had was buying PS2s.
You know what? That's what Colin Powell was called in to testify. But when they went and looked, it was actually
Atari Jaguars.
No, it was like Ouya's or something that had actually been linked in tandem.
So Legrand, I remember seeing this game a little bit more frequently when I was living in Japan, and I was just looking up the facts on this game, and it actually says here on the Wikipedia page, it says. Intelligent Cube was a financial success in Japan, having sold 500,000 copies by March 97 and nearly 750,000 copies by the end of 97. And a few sequels were made, including IQ Final and IQ Remix Plus for the PS2. In 2006, IQ Mania for the PlayStation Portable. There were a few of these.
There's like an intelligent cinematic cubiverse out there that we didn't even know about.
Yeah, so there's one out there. If
waiting
you
for the
down.
movie crossover.
You know, I might have to hunt those down. Maybe they'll just bring them to the PlayStation Plus Ultra Edition.
I don't know if any of those were put out in the States.
It was all Japanese versions?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Could look into it, but yeah.
I'm going to play some of this. And I tell you what, man, loading up a PS1 game on an HD TV, ooh, boy, howdy.
Yeah,
it's a little rough.
I played some of Metal Gear Solid, the original, not too long ago, and
dude, awesome.
The game owns. It's the best.
Still owns.
It's the best,
even with the crappy graphics by today's standards.
Everybody's jaggy polygons looking like.
But the voice acting is still
like actual stairs.
We were watching. We were watching Mission Impossible trailer. Me and my son, because my son is obsessed with Mission Impossible. He freaking loves it. And we were watching the new trailer for the new.
You should watch the old TV show and see what he thinks.
Well, here's what we did.
Game.
So. In the little YouTube recommended videos popped up a full playthrough of Mission Impossible on the Nintendo 64. Do you guys remember this piece of garbage?
Yes, yes, I do. I was actually going to. I was going to try and make
garbage.
A joke. But,
and it's pretty garbage. It came out around the same time that GoldenEye did, actually, and it kind of has a very similar fidelity, which is bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we ended up watching that.
What popped up in my YouTube feed was the original BattleTech cartoons.
Oh wow! Remember how it would go into visual mode or whatever it was?
It was enhanced mode or whatever.
Battle mode. And I actually have those things, and they're in 320 resolution. They're and it's like the original TV. Like that's how we watched TV back then. It was like literally
640 by 320.
Yeah, it was like literally on your television,
spread out to like your huge 13-inch TV that you loved.
Yeah,
13.
Yeah.
No, we had like a 36-inch TV that like sat on the floor. You know.
Oh boy, look at old rich boy Dale over
when
here
your television,
with his 32-inch TV.
When your television was also like ornately carved artisan furniture.
Oh,
Yeah, we had one of the console or whatever.
Rounded screen. Yeah.
I had a TV, 13 inches, color TV, and it had a built-in VCR. It was awesome.
What the heck?
I watched
But what if it was a
Excalibur
Betamax?
and Monty Python Holy Grail so many times.
all the time.
Sounds about
I had
right.
a 9-inch color TV with a Kansas City Royals sticker on the side of it.
Nice.
And I watched Married with Children at like 9:30 p.m.
Yes.
Children today have
I had
no idea.
a 5.5-inch black and white TV I had hidden down the side of my bed, and I wake up in the morning and roll over and watch
thought you were
Teenage
gonna say
Mutant
down
Ninja
your
Turtles on it. No, none of that.
Amazing.
Anyway, Intelligent
Wow.
Cube Schools. You should check it out if you have the PlayStation Plus. I also have been playing Fire Emblem Fates.
Birthright.
This is the 3DS Fire Emblem game. I'm playing.
This is
the
just about the
Birthright
time it took a
edition.
left turn and got really anime, right?
It's pretty anime.
Yeah.
Pretty
like,
sure I
I
have
think-
this one on my shelf.
Awakening was
when
anime
opening.
too.
Yeah.
Awakening was anime, but this one is also anime.
Very anime. I think it's just getting worse.
The thing is with this game is this is the game that had like 3 different games rolled into one, right? So they
Right.
had 3 releases. So they had Fire Emblem Fates, Birthright, they had Conquest, and then they had Revelation. And so in this game, the storyline is you play a character, and your character, part of the story is that you were kidnapped by this nation when you were like a baby, and this nation raised you as their own. And when you're older, you get into a battle with this neighboring nation, and they capture you, and then they like welcome you back home with open arms. That hey, welcome home, son. I'm your mom. These are your actual sisters. This is what happened. This guy's a bad guy. And then you get into a fight so you're living with like your normal country, like where you were supposedly from originally with your actual family. And you get into a battle with these people that raised you. And there's a moment in time where you have to decide this is like the 5th mission of the game, where you have to decide whether you want to stay with your real birth family, Birthright, or go with the bad warmongering family that raised you, or you can decide to not do either. And so whatever one you decide to do determines the path in the game that you actually play. So of these 3 versions of the game, Birthright, Conquest, and Revelation, the first 5 missions are all the same. Then at one point you make a decision, and then the game changes from there for the next 25 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fascinating the way that it's kind of put together. And so it's kind of made where you buy whatever version you want. And so I bought Birthright, which is, I guess, the easiest one of the 3. And then you actually, once you pay full price for that, you can actually buy the other 2 versions as DLC at a discount. So you're not paying $40 for each version.
That's kind of cool, actually.
You pay like a lower price for the other 2. And so I did that. So I have all 3 of these games, and I'm playing through the Birthright, which is where I stay with my birth family. And now I'm trying to take down the bad family that actually raised me until I was, an adult or whatever. So it's got some really, really interesting story elements where you're coming across these. So the first few missions, you're actually playing with the conquest side. So with the kingdom of Nor that raised you, and you meet all these characters, and they call you brother. They call, hey, this is my older sister and whatever. And they treat you like family. And so
Brother!
when you have to then decide which way to go, there's all these interesting interactions between you and these characters. And now you have like this guy who was your older brother that was your mentor, and then now he's like calling you a traitor. And so it's got some really cool story stuff going on there that I've been really enjoying. And the gameplay itself is classic, Fire Emblem fare. It's, it's a turn-based strategy game. You have lots of different characters with different traits, and I think that the characters are really well done in this game. And I didn't think that it's funny because I remember I played all of Fire Emblem Awakening to completion when it came out on the 3DS, and you kind of forget how good these games actually are when you don't actually play them a lot, because I'm not a big turn-based strategy guy, but I did play through the first one, so I ended up buying this one, and I forgot how good Fire Emblem actually is, and you can understand why so many people are into it and why so many people get excited because they're adding X, Y, or Z Fire Emblem character to freaking Smash Brothers, right? Because these are like beloved characters that have really cool personalities and unique weapons and different classes that they have. And so it's been fun, man. I think that Fire Emblem Fates is a very good game. I also have Fire Emblem. I also have the Conquest one, and I also have the Revelation. Revelation is the version where you have to pick a side, and you decide, well, F it. I'm not picking either side. I'm just going to go off, and I'm going to try to unify these two, and it's like a whole separate storyline. So I'm really enjoying it. Having a good time playing that game. If you have a chance, it's still available on. It's at full price at like $40 or whatever on Amazon, but it still is available retail, and which is where I picked it up. So I do have a physical version of Fire Emblem Fates. I bought the DLC as DLC, and it's pretty good. So I don't know, play it, I guess. If you want to play 3DS games like me, if you're crazy like I am, then go ahead and do it.
Well, hey, speaking of which, I'll just jump right in and I'll say that, the last couple 3 weeks, I haven't really had a lot of time for video games, but what I did play, I was kind of inspired a little bit. I didn't bring my Switch with me as I traveled. Instead, I brought my 3DS.
You were inspired by me, weren't you?
Little bit.
Another
Okay,
3DS?
okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take that. I like that.
Yeah. So I played something that we've actually talked about on this show before. So I might be a little bit LBW.
Like 7 years ago.
I might be a little Link Between Worlds to this one. No, but I played The Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds, and we have talked about it on the show. Dale brought it like a couple of years ago, actually, and I think at the time I told him, I'm like, oh wow, that sounds really cool. I'll play it immediately, and I did not. I immediately didn't play it, but I did this time.
It came out. I have the Link Between Worlds 3DS. That's what I played. That's what the first 3DS I bought was to play this game. And anyway,
I think I have a little bit of like merch from the time, a little bit of like pre-order bonus. So there was like a Legend of Zelda chest that has a little like a watch battery in it, and when you open it up, it goes da 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 da, and you can like put different 3DS cartridges in there. So the idea
cool.
is,
that sounds awesome.
It is pretty cool, except I haven't ever replaced the battery, so it goes like when I open it, it doesn't really work. Link Between Worlds, I'll just kind of keep it brief because we have covered it, but it is a spiritual, well, actually, I guess like a literal sequel to
straight up.
Link to the Past, which is, I guess, one of the all-time Zelda games. I think I don't know if it's
the all-time Zelda game in my eyes.
I don't know if it's in my top. I don't know.
Of Zelda games, it is one of them.
It is the best one of them.
of the various Zelda games, and it basically reimagines the scenario of A Link to the Past. So you have your overworld map, which is very similar. Well, not even really similar, but it feels similar. You have your house.
It has the same overall layout,
castle,
for sure.
And then there's the woods, but then there's a whole different area, like over to the east side somewhere, and it's different in this. So it's not a perfect analog, but you definitely know that it's calling back to A Link to the Past.
It's definitely a sequel, straight up, and it's the same world. It's just the map is a little
but
different.
It's not. It's another one of those things where it's like, well, hero, why did you like? It's not the same characters.
It's as much of a sequel as like Phantom Hourglass is
in
to Wind Waker.
In the Hyrule Historia. Like it's probably
they're
like
direct sequels in the Hyrule. I would imagine
it's a kissing cousin of.
No, they're sequels. It's a sequel. Look it up.
I don't think so, because I don't think anyone is like. Anyway, whatever. But it plays.
You talk, I'll look it up and I'll tell you.
Okay, you look it up. I don't think they're like, oh, remember that time that you saved us from the dark world or whatever. It's not. It's just not like that. But anyway, the upshot of this, there's kind of 2 or 3 main characteristics, and like I said, Dale has already covered this, but I'll just run through it real quick. The first thing is that the kind of the overarching superpower or gimmick for this is that your character can sort of merge flat onto walls, and you can kind of do it on any wall, but there are certain walls that they sort of intend you to do it on. So in that same way where Final Fantasy 13 was like, oh no, it's only in a hallway. Well, all Final Fantasy games are in a hallway. It's just a question of how wide is the hallway, right? So you can merge into a wall anytime, which means that you can scoot in between like cracks in the walls and things like that. You always maintain that one of the sort of main puzzle mechanics is that in multi-level, so it actually does have a lot of places where there are levels that you can move up or down. So there's some verticality, and it's a top-down view But you can climb upward on things. But when you merge into the wall, you can only move left or right. So a lot of it is about moving blocks, and like as you move, you kind of merge onto the wall of a moving block, and it carries you over, and you pop out somewhere else, and you ascend that way. But you're sort of limited in kind of the weird, crazy things you can do with it. And that's basically it. Like you can merge onto things, or you can kind of skip over areas by getting onto the wall and like kind of sidling your way over a cliff face or something like that. And it's kind of cool. And everything is very, I don't want to say that this game is like an easy mode game, but it is very much intended to not hinder your progress as you move through the game. I mean, it's a pretty well telegraphed game.
I think Link to the Past is probably that as well.
Sure. Well, so in this though, they have like an actual mechanic where they're gonna like tell you where you go next. Like you can at any time like go to a fortune teller, and they actually have a map that's like, oh, I heard about this place. There's a big question mark down here.
There's a fortune teller in Link to the Past as well that does the same thing.
Is there? I don't remember that.
Yep.
It's been a long time. But anyway, and then the other big mechanic is, and I can't think of the dude's name off the top of my head. So Dale LeGrand, you might have to help me with this. But the little rabbit dude, the merchant who sets up in your house.
Oh yeah, like, Ravio.
Ravio. That's right. And
I had no idea.
Really? That's funny because I distinctly remember, Dale, you like had this whole thing. We'll link to the old. Yeah, you laid it out. I feel like maybe I should go over this in more depth. But anyway, so the other thing is that the secondary weapons that you get, like the secondary items, like in all of the Zelda pantheon, you would maintain like you get a raft, or you get a candle, or you get a ladder or something that you can use to climb up certain areas. In this, they unlock for you pretty much at all times your entire.
Whenever you want, at least.
Yeah, anytime. You can go to Ravio and you'll have like a wind wand, or you have a bow and arrow, or whatever. Just like your entire thing of like kind of magical items. But you just have to pay for them, and you get to keep them for as long as you can until you die, and then he gets them all back.
I remember this.
Yeah. So, but in this way, you can basically go kind of to any of the major areas in the game. I think within reason. I mean, there are some limiting factors, but if you decide that you want to go, go to the Wind Temple, like you have a little bit of progression to do because you have to get some flippers to go swimming. But you just go to Ravio and buy that wind thing, and go to the Windmill Temple or whatever.
And you rent them from him.
Yeah, you just pay him, and sometimes they'll be on special. And I'm not sure if the game kind of like encourages you, like, hey, this one's on special. You should rent this one for half off and go do something with this.
I believe you can also eventually buy them outright where you don't actually lose them. They just cost a lot.
Yeah, they can.
But it's like all you need rupees for anyways in this game, so you end up spending them on the items regardless.
Yeah, which other than that, I mean, famously in Legend of Zelda, you're always like running out of space in your rupee bag. You get 200 or something, and you're like, oh no, now everything's wasted. But this, they encourage you to just like go around killing dudes, getting rupees, and actually spending them on a cool weapon. So it almost, and I was going to look up the time frame for the release of this versus Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild also was similarly like liberating, right? It was like
2013.
Yeah, so this predates it by about 5 or 6 years. But I feel like it kind of might be the sort of proto concept to that really like libertine free world of Breath of the Wild, where they were just like, well, you know what would happen if we just let you buy the weapons that you want at any time? And Eiji Aonuma was like, it's crazy, let's do it. And so they did. The 3D is really great. The graphics are really cool. I did not play.
Here's some information for you.
What's up?
In the Wada Asks specifically, it mentions that the development team felt that the formula of going into a dungeon, obtaining a new item, and then move on to the next dungeon in a specific order was flawed, as a player could get stuck on a dungeon and be unable to progress. So they wanted to give the player more freedom in the ways they could advance through the game, allowing them to tackle dungeons in any order and clear multiple dungeons in parallel. But this meant that the method for acquiring items had to be changed.
Yeah.
So that was a very specific. What you described is exactly what they were going for. I guess.
And it works out. I mean, it feels like a kind of game where I think some people would be like, well, this is a baby game, but I don't think anybody would say that about The Legend of Zelda just because, for out of respect or whatever. So they kind of got away with it. But it definitely feels like a game that it wants to get out of your way as much as possible. And that's cool. Like I can respect that. And especially these days when I, come back to a game and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on here. It's kind of cool just to be able to pick up and do kind of whatever I feel, and usually be making progress in some way. Like I said, 3D is good. The graphics are good. I did not play that new Wind Fit. What was what was that Game Boy game that they did? The Island of Mystic Eggs or whatever it was. Anyway, they made it look like claymation.
They made it for the 3DS,
Link's
right?
Awakening, yes.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening.
Yeah, the remake of that.
Yeah, that was on the Switch, but so I guess you can't really compare.
Oh, that was a Switch game, right?
Yeah, and it had like this toy looking, it just looked really different.
Yeah.
It looked like
it was like an identical game, but just had way nicer graphics. I guess
exactly. And everybody, at least everybody, all you guys were like, oh, I'm not going to pay full price for this. But I still haven't paid full price for that. But
neither have I.
Maybe at some point in the future. So anyway, Link Between Worlds, and it's still good. And I don't know if I'll go back to it, but maybe it can be my new airplane game the next time I go on a trip somewhere. But that's what I.
So it says here the story is set many years after the events of Link to the Past.
But I feel like it's like many years. Like I don't think it doesn't seem connected that directly, but I could be wrong.
Sure.
I don't think you're the same character.
It has to do with the Seven Sages, which I think was this part of the story.
That's the thing. It's almost like it's a reimagined thing.
It's almost like it's all just
but the whole world is like it's different though.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't really think too hard about trying to place it in the timeline of Zelda.
I always felt thought that it was an actual sequel to the other one.
I don't think it is, but it's whatever. It's close enough. You can imagine.
There's always a Triforce of Power.
There's always a
candle and a raft.
A light sword.
There you go. That's what I played.
Nice.
Well, we'll just go down the list here. I have a quick update on a game that I spoke about many moons ago, or at least several moons ago. Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr.
It's a good game.
Which one is this again?
This is the one that's like a Diablo game.
It's Warhammer 40K ARPG. It's really good.
Yep, it's like a Diablo game where you have discrete missions that you beam down to the planet, or like you take a little shuttle over to the derelict space hulk or whatever, and you get in, you do your mission in about 5 or 10 minutes, and you get out and you go through your loot and you adjust your passive skills and whatnot, and do the whole thing again. And so it's it's cool. It does what it says on the tin. And it has kind of an interesting story, which is actually, there's a lot of writing in this game. I didn't really notice beforehand, or I guess until this time playing it or whatever. But this is the kind of game where like periodically you'll be like wandering through and, like you'll find like a body, and then like there'll be like a note on the body or like a journal. And it's like a solid like 250 words or whatever. You can like read through it. And then you have this file or journal or whatever it's called, that as you go along with your investigations, right? Because you're in this game, you're an inquisitor, and in 40K lore, they're basically kind of like a detective sort of thing, where they like have cases and they choose their own mission and go and try to solve it and stuff.
They're a lot like the specters in Mass Effect.
Yeah, they're very similar to like a Spectre in Mass Effect, or or like a Witcher, and anybody who's their own boss, and then can go on like a myriad of different quests and stuff, right? So you have these ongoing cases, right? And you'll have like maybe 2 or 3 of them at once, and then you'll get tasked from like higher ups in the organization. They'll be like, you need to go to this planet and investigate all these like cults and like see what's going on with that, right? So you go and check out the cults and discover that they're being manipulated by some heretic space marines behind the scenes, and then you need to like go and find the warehouse where they're worshiping the like giant monolith from Dead Space, and then kill all the mutants and all that sort of stuff.
Burn the heretics,
That's right, yeah. Purge the unclean, the whole bit. And it's just good. It's good. It's real solid. It's what kind of turned me on to this again was coming off of Diablo Immortal. I was like, okay,
there's got to be a better one of these somewhere.
Let's put it up against at first I was like, maybe I'll go and contrast it with Diablo 3. But then I was like, what? I never finished that 40K Inquisitor Martyr game. I'll check that out. And yeah, the reason that I've stuck with it over the last few days is like, I just kind of want to see what happens in the story. Like, I don't know that it's well written or like that interesting, but the kind of interesting thing about a big universe like Warhammer 40K is that all of the stories that are told within it are like necessarily small stakes as compared to the like giant overarching mythology, the stuff that like very rarely gets moved forward or updated or anything. So what that means is that you end up getting these like genre tales, that are very like procedural. And so I think you get a lot of that kind of like odd satisfaction that you might get from like an episode of like Law and Order or like Star Trek or whatever your genre thing is, right?
Right.
Without it having to be like, you are the chosen one and the whole universe is going to end if you don't get the relic and then kill the alien queen or whatever. It's all just kind of like procedural sort of stuff. And what's going to happen is you're going to go in, you're going to kill a bunch of nameless goons, you're going to get like a better plasma gun or a better chain sword, and then you're going to move on with your life. You're going to get like a 3% passive bonus to your shield strength, or whatever it happens to be. And in the next mission, the guys will be a little bit tougher, but so will you. And you'll just go through the motions. And so where these games kind of live and die. And what I will say that Diablo Immortal did pretty well, and this game does fairly well as well, is like giving you the immediacy to the movements and the attacks and like the satisfaction of like jumping across a gap and landing amid like 10 dudes and 4 of them explode just because of impact.
Action RPGs are games about feelings, as in, does this feel good to play or not?
Not your emotions.
Not emotions, but how does it feel?
Play feel.
Yeah, if it's exactly floaty or wishy-washy, ain't no one gonna play that game. It's crap.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so this one is not quite as good as the Diablo games, but it's better than some I've played. And it has a trillion side systems like a lot of these games do, where there's like the equivalent of like Diablo like gems, like you're socketing gems, or the sort of like craft this into that, craft like 3 or 4 of these into that, but it does all this stuff without being, this is not a free to play game. This is not a, there's no monetization in here. What they have done though is ever since the launch of this game several years ago, they've done quite a bit of support to it so that it is maintained, and they have like their weekly things going on, they have like their seasons going on and all that sort of stuff. And so it seems like there's life there, and they've patched it, they've improved the feel and the graphics, and there's been DLC and stuff. So it's like a live game that is not like abandonware like a lot of games can be after 3, 4, 5 years, however long.
I very often wonder about these kinds of games where they, it's not like a big blockbuster, but they probably have like 2 or 3 guys on staff that they're just like maintaining in some little office somewhere, and they
these guys are probably based in like Czech Republic or somewhere, just guessing. So they're probably kind of like making enough money to have a pretty good ongoing concern, and I think it's a pretty decent game. So there you go.
I really enjoyed playing it. It's on GeForce Now as well. So
is it on Game Pass?
I don't know. Who cares?
It's a PC only, so it might not. I'm not sure.
Is it on PC Game Pass?
Is it on the new PS Plus?
Not that I know of.
Well, I have 2 quick games I'm going to talk about. One of which is on GeForce Now. I don't know if it's on Game Pass. It might be.
Is it on Warhammer? Is it on Warhammer Pass? That new service coming out where you can play all Warhammer games for $10 a month?
No,
it's good value right there.
That would be a good value, honestly.
It's like 10 new games a month, man.
So it is kind of like Warhammer. I've been playing the new MechWarrior 5 Call to Arms DLC. So this DLC adds the hatchet men and melee weapons and melee to the game.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Jeremy's over his jet lag now. Go on.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And it's a lot of fun. I mean, even as you're running around, because you don't have to have a weapon to melee, right? Like as you're running around,
sometimes that can be a problem. Like you run out of ammo, you run out, you get stuff shot off.
I was playing the other day, yesterday, whatever, last night. Playing in a Phoenix Hawk, which has a Phoenix Hawk has hands, if you can picture that mech. But I did not. Yeah, I did not have a weapon equipped. But I had a large laser, 2 medium lasers, and a small laser, and this panther closed within really quick. So I just punched him in the face, and it killed him, and it was great.
Wow,
it felt so good.
Now, how does that? I'm curious how that, because that seems like it would fundamentally. I mean, I was just thinking, like, what if if you don't have weapons, what if it let you like pick up some debris on the ground and like use that? Like, how would that fundamentally change the dynamic of the game? And I'm curious.
That would be neat. You cannot interact with the environment in any way. So effectively, how it works out is the different melee weapons have different, are just items you can equip that have different stats. And only certain mechs can equip them, just like any other weapon, right? Like not all mechs can equip a large laser, for example, because they may not have a large laser slot, or it may not have a laser slot at all, right? It may only be ballistics. Right. So certain mechs can equip certain weapons, and there's like the claws and the axes and the I think like the vibro swords and all that kind of stuff, right? And those weapons modify, they don't just increase your attack, but they modify other parts as well. So some of them generate heat, which you got to be careful of course. They change the range of your melee attack, so like claws have a shorter range than an axe, if that makes sense.
That's cool.
So it's just things like that, and basically it's another weapon. You run up and you can map it to your fire groups and punch things. There's a left and a right. You can punch with your left or punch with your right.
So wait, when you say you can add it to your fire groups, does that mean you can like have it set on chain fire, so where it's like gun hit?
Yeah,
yeah. Really? So you could just run around just like chopping at things.
It's just like another weapon. So yeah, you could give them the old left right if you wanted, or you can map them separate. It's a lot of fun.
Program in a headbutt. Like they should
give them
just full on make
good night.
And it's the first time I've actually played, because I own the other DLCs, the Legend of the Kestrel Lancers, and I actually forget the name of the other one. Heroes of the Inner Sphere. I've owned those, but I haven't played since they came out, and so it's kind of fun jumping back in. They've added quite a bit quality of life type stuff to the game, including like there's like the story campaign, and there was like just like missions you could do. Well, there's a like a career mode you can do now, where you just jump in. There's no story per se, but you can fly around to different planets and just run your mercenary company. They added different like these like cantina missions, which are just a little different way, different style of missions. So some of them may have you collecting certain amounts of weapons or destroying certain mechs and things like that. Different little objectives that they can kind of dole out, and you can go run down. So it's a lot of fun. That game is really, really cool looking. It's in the Unreal Engine, I think. And man, it's pretty with the lasers, and it's like you rake your large laser across their armor and you can see like the molten slag like flaking off. Love it. It's so good. It's so fun. You should
check to see. Do you remember how they said they were making that semi-official mod to make it a top-down like RTS? You should check and see if they ever did anything with that.
I'll see if that come out. There are quite a few mods that have come out. I haven't played any, but they look pretty amazing. That add all kinds of crazy systems, like new weapons, like pirate type mechs and stuff like that. So pretty cool stuff. Over on Epic is where I'm playing it. So nice. Pretty neat. Yeah, I've just started the first couple of missions, so I'm not super far into it, but man, it's good. It's a neat addition, especially knowing that MechWarrior Online will really probably never have melee combat, right?
I want that to come back to GeForce now. Can I make my just public Game Bytes show appeal to bring that back to GeForce now? Because that was the best way to play it, I think.
It's on Game Pass. MechWarrior 5.
There you go.
Oh, MechWarrior 5. That's cool.
Yep. The other game I've been playing is kind of hilarious. It's called Tiny Folks, and it is just a really small little indie game. I picked it up for like $2 or something crazy off Steam,
A small game about small people for a small price.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
And basically it's like a turn-based, it kind of reminds me of like a JRPG where it's like you're on the left and the bad guys are on the right, and you take turns like attack or cast a spell, that kind of combat. But it's just a really cute little RPG where you go from mission to mission, and you have like your heroes, and they kind of, they fight. And
are they small, or like what's the tiny part?
I mean, I guess it says train your folks. They're kind of small. I don't know. But it's kind of has a charming art style to it. If you guys remember Return of the Obra Dinn, where it had like that green VGA kind of
oh yeah, like an old Apple
overtone
looking thing.
Yeah. So this game does the same. So it's all shades of green and dark green and white. That's it.
That's fun.
And yeah, it's just kind of super silly, and I don't know. I kind of like games that are like $2 and you get in, you get your $2 worth or whatever. You play them for like an hour or two, and you're like, I felt really good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like that.
So
I think Vampire Survivors had an update at some point. Speaking of which,
yeah, nobody cares.
They've had updates every week, dude.
Many updates. All right,
they haven't stopped.
Check it out.
But you have a town you can upgrade. You get different weapons, tons of the little monsters, and they're just like little pixely blobs on your screen, and it's great.
I do kind of like that aesthetic.
That's
what it's like I'm playing a PS1 game.
So what you might be playing starting this coming week, because it's releasing in our new releases, deals, updates, etc., that we get from tech-gaming.com. The new releases we have marked here is Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song. I want to say this was out on PC for a little bit, but I guess, is this coming to PlayStation and Xbox? Or
I believe so.
Yeah. So this is kind of a this is an interesting game. So Vampire the Masquerade, we all kind of know and love from Bloodlines, which was that RPG from, I don't know, 20 years ago now, maybe.
Yeah.
But Swan Song is similar, but I think more of a like story narrative. I think it has much thinner RPG, if any, elements. It's mostly
kind of like an adventure game of sorts.
If you're into that world, I've heard it's pretty good. Mario
Vampires are in right now. I don't know if you knew. Vampires are
back. I don't know.
I was always Team Werewolf. Mario Strikers Battle League.
Soccer game.
Yep. Yeah, the soccer games are pretty good, and this one is all about like killing people with soccer, which is also pretty good. I rate this one pretty good.
Pretty good. Also pretty good are our leaked new Destiny guns, allegedly.com. The Hand of Merlin.
Yes.
Which, great Destiny 2 gun, also a really good tactical turn-based strategy game.
Interesting.
This bit is funny until it's a game that you enjoy, and then you're like,
I know.
No, it's still funny.
Nobody likes this game or this gun is Green Hell.
Green Hell actually also is why are so many games good Destiny gun names?
Green Hell.
What do you mean? How come so many Destiny gun names make a good game name sometimes?
Like someone needs to explore the intellectual concept of the names of Destiny guns and what exactly it is and why it's so universal.
Monkey face.
Keep it monkey face.
Green Hell is a light machine gun, by the way. It's got to be.
Okay, good. Good.
Freshly frosted.
Sniper rifle?
I was going to say sniper rifle.
Yep. For sure.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Deals, freebies, Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 updates for the PS5, Xbox Series X.
There's too many Resident Evil games, you guys.
I know. I know everyone's excited about this remake that's coming out, but I'm just like, well, Resident Evil.
Truly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Lots of them.
That's all we got.
They're still making them. Yeah. Listen, there's people that are just starting to be gamers that need to play these games.
They're
not for you.
We should just remake all games for all time. That's what we just need to do.
Yes. And they should all have
Mission Impossible N64 needs a remake.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Probably. Well, I've got some news here. As mentioned, I'll be covering these video game showcases during Not E3 that happened this week.
Just going to take a small
On the top
nap
of our
here.
list, the Xbox and Bethesda Games showcase that happened, yesterday? 2 days ago?
I think it was yesterday.
It was yesterday. I actually watched all of these trailers for most of them. So there's a bunch of stuff they added. Speaking of vampires being back, Redfall is the game by Arcane that's all about killing vampires in a stylized fashion. It looks like a co-op class character-based vampire shooter. Looks pretty cool. They had a trailer for Hollow Knight Silksong, which is one thing I need to mention, that it seemed like almost every game that they showed on here, almost all of them were coming to Game Pass, like day one on Game Pass. Every trailer ended with that, which was pretty cool. So that includes this Arcane game, Redfall, as well as Hollow Knight Silksong will be on Game Pass day one. There's a game called High on Life. This is made by the dude Justin Roiland and his developer studio. He's the guy who made Rick and Morty. And right. I looked at the screenshot of this and I was like, this game looks really dumb. But then I watched the trailer, and basically it's a game where you're a dude who has sentient guns that have personalities and they talk to you, and you get different types of guns, and they're all like actual characters in the game, which is goes into with our leaked Destiny 2 guns allegedly, probably.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it actually looked kind of funny, and you could tell the voice of Justin Roiland in there is a Morty. There's like a Morty gun that sounds just like Morty. And anyway, whatever. Riot Games. This is something interesting here. Riot Games is getting involved with Xbox Game Pass, where basically you'll be able to get access to every League of Legends character, where previously this is a free-to-play game where you were buying characters at $5 to $10 a pop. And if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you'll be able to get access to all the League of Legends characters as part of your Game Pass subscription. Same goes with Valorant. So all the Valorant characters that you play with in that game. And then they'll also be adding some additional bonuses to Teamfight Tactics as well as Legends of Runeterra. This is actually pretty interesting, where they've taken a free-to-play game and they've made it even freer if you have Game Pass.
Yeah, that's true. That actually is kind of compelling too.
It is, right? Like, there's so many times where I just didn't want to drop $10 to try out the latest League of Legends champion. But if you had Game Pass and just automatically got them all, I don't know. Would I play League of Legends again?
And try it.
I do play Wild Rifts. I played Wild Rift this last week. I played a round of that. So would I play Wild Rift? Maybe. I might.
You'd at least think about it. Yeah.
I like Legends of Runeterra.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that card game was actually really good. Yeah. So they're going to give you the Foundations set, which is, I don't know, the card set in that game, I guess. A Plague Tale Requiem. This is a sequel to A Plague's Tale Innocence, which I actually played to completion. So sequel to that coming out. Trailer looks like more rats for sure. Forza Motorsport. This is the not Forza Horizon. So this is the more Gran Turismo wannabe one. Yeah, where you're actually playing on actual courses rather than just driving
GTA
around the countryside.
No, the Gran Turismo.
The GTA version.
This is the Gran Turismo one.
Oh, sorry, Gran Turismo. Did I say GTA?
No, Dale said it, but I think it should be that now. That needs to be the reality.
Probably. They're adding Halo Pelicans to Flight Simulator, so get it on, I guess.
They just need to stop the slow slide into Gonzo, like weird outer space. They just need to do it. Just make Flight Simulator. Just put guns 100%. And stuff in there. Like let's just be real.
When does it become like a Kerbal simulator? You know what I mean? Like when do they break free of the atmosphere, the gravity well?
I mean, it's just
Elite Dangerous.
It's a matter of time.
They just need to merge it with No Man's Sky.
When they buy Elite Dangerous, the game studio, then that'd
be cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I know you would. That's why I mentioned it. Oh. Overwatch 2 gets a release date, October 4th. Early access for Overwatch 2. It's going to be free to play. And since now Activision is going to be part of Xbox, like now they're all talking about stuff in there. There's a game called Ara History Untold, which was a real-time strategy game that looked okay, like a historical real-time strategy game. They had a trailer for the High Isles. This is the Elder Scrolls Online, which we actually mentioned last week. Fallout 76 is getting some additional story content in The Pit, which is actually a DLC from Fallout 3, I believe.
Fallout 3, yeah.
Yeah, so they're bringing that into Fallout 76. Forza Horizon 5 is getting a Hot Wheels update. This is their first major DLC, so I'm sure Jeremy's waiting in line digitally to download this for
I got my Hot Wheels.
Forza Horizon 5. Yep. Arc 2 Arc 2 is coming out. Also starring Vin Diesel, if you guys recall.
That was Arc 2?
Yeah.
The
That was Arc 2, yeah.
Vin Diesel game? Yeah, wow.
Anyway, that game's coming out. That's going to be free on
canonically a sequel to Riddick.
Pass. That's right.
Dude, Riddick was a great game.
It was a good game. There's a game called Scorn that's coming out. It looked like a super weird, crazy, gothic horror first-person shooter game. If that's
There's
your jam.
Tentacles.
Not as good as Doom, though, probably. Anyway. Flintlock Siege of Dawn looked like an action game. Looks fine. Minecraft Legends was a unique game where this kind of seems like a what was that game that was kind of like Pikmin where you control those little goblins? Overlord,
which was awesome.
This kind of seems like Minecraft Overlord, where you have a character and you recruit
like little
zombies and you go and
dudes,
attack. Yeah. Anyway, it's like a pretty interesting trailer. There's a game called Lightyear Frontier. This is a survival game set in space on like an alternate planet where you're growing crops that look like
you have like a
legally
red
distinct alien
tractor.
corn. Yeah, exactly. Gunfire Reborn looked dumb as hell, so I didn't watch the trailer. That's the only one I didn't watch, actually, by the way. Just looking at the picture, I'm like, yeah, nah, sorry. So if you care, whatever. Looks like a character shooter game that's got a cartoony art style that I just didn't care for. I didn't watch it, sorry. The Last Case of Benedict Fox, however, looked like a pretty cool narrative game. It actually looked pretty cool, like a side-scrolling, sort of action-y, narrative-based, spooky game starring
a
Benedict
gentleman.
Fox. Yes.
The character silhouette looks a little bit like Guybrush Threepwood, sort of.
It kind of does. He's got
Okay.
hair.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kind of does. As Dusk Falls is a game coming out actually next month, and this is a game that is sort of like an adventure game that actually looked pretty cool. It takes place in some podunk, middle of the nowhere.
I don't know. It reminds me of
Springs.
that. It reminds me of that mail truck game that was supposed to Lake or whatever. Like it looks like it, and I'm getting some bad vibes from it. I don't know.
Did you watch the trailer? You should watch the trailer.
I'm looking at it right now, and it's. I mean,
the
I'm
art
sure
style is very interesting. Where it's like they take
like
real
things that they kind of
pictures
merge
of
around.
people, but then digitally make them not real pictures, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
They put a
Naraka
Photoshop
Blade
filter on
Point
it.
is a game that has been on PC for a while. It's coming to Xbox. I actually have this on Epic. It's a pretty cool battle royale game, actually. It's like a melee-based ninjas, medieval-style combat battle royale game, which is pretty cool. Pentiment. This is a game by Obsidian.
Obsidian, yeah.
That looks like a Jared/Dale Dale Jared game.
This does look kind of neat and interesting. This is it's being directed by that guy Josh Sawyer. He did Fallout New Vegas. So
cool.
And like as well as like Pillars of Eternity.
Is it a comedy? I can't tell. Like it kind of looks like it could be.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think there's probably
so
comedic.
It looks like it might have
or,
a little bit of lighthearted elements to it, but definitely not.
Yeah.
Maybe not a comedy.
Everyone should play Procession to Calvary, by the way. Anyway.
Okay. Grounded. This is a game that's been actually out in preview mode on Xbox for a while. Like it's getting a full release. This is like the Honey I Shrunk the Kids survival game.
No
Where the spiders are horrifying.
Yeah, that's right. Erebin Shadow Legacy. Spoilers, there was actually 2 trailers I didn't watch. This was the second one I didn't watch.
The twist.
Fast-paced stealth platformer game where you're actually like a robot or some shit. I don't know, man. This is the other one I didn't watch. Sorry. Diablo 4 had a Necromancer trailer though.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was not a gameplay trailer. It was just like a cinematic, just announcing the Necromancer. Looked super spooky. So play the Necromancer, which is might even be the first class I play in Diablo 4, which I like the Necromancer in general. Sea of Thieves is getting some stuff. Ravenlock is a
action-packed fairy tale, it says.
Yeah, this was I watched this trailer and it seemed like I don't know, something I wasn't into.
So kind of like an old school PS2 like character adventure action game, like a Ratchet and Clank, except with
right there. You go.
Yeah.
Cocoon. This was a really weird game. This is actually published by Annapurna, and the guys who made this are the Limbo/Inside designers. So the gameplay designers designed.
I was so disappointed that this was not the Brian Dennehy movie. So did they not finally get the Cocoon movie? The movie.
Oh, they're in the swimming pool. Look, they're coming out.
They're young again.
Oh, can I just get my driver's license now? That's all I remember from that movie.
Wilford Brimley. Oh,
yeah,
why
Wilford
can we
Brimley
not?
getting his driver's license at the DMV, and he's like pissed off, and he like reads the bottom line. You remember this? You remember this, Jeremy?
Yeah, sure. This is a classic movie.
You watched it last week. I get it.
Yeah.
And Wolong Final Dynasty. Okay, guys, listen. I did watch this one, but it's a Team Ninja game, and it looks very Team Ninja. So check that out.
I love Team Ninja.
If Wolong Fallen Dynasty doesn't tell you what this game is about, then you need to check your.
Then Wolong.
That's right. Persona. This is an interesting announcement. Persona 3 Portable, which is the PSP version. Persona 4 Golden, which is already on PC, as well as Persona 5 Royale, are all coming to Xbox, and they're also coming to PC if they're not already there. So Persona 5 Royale's coming to PC, is also coming to Game Pass, which means I don't have to buy it on the PlayStation.
This is my opportunity to get completely caught up.
That's right. Yeah, give yourself like 600 hours, you'll get caught up on Persona. And they also, Hideo Kojima, there was an announcement that he's making a game in collaboration with Xbox, and nobody knows what that means, but look forward to an announcement of the Keeleys. Yeah. The Keeleys will have an announcement of what this game actually is. So stay tuned for December on this. And finally, Starfield.
Real quick, I saw a rumor recently that Kojima was going to be working on like a horror game. So we'll see.
Okay. PT, maybe? PT spiritual predecessor? I don't know.
Past tense? PT?
Next post faster.
And finally, Starfield had a 15-minute trailer. Todd Howard came out, chatted about it, showed it off. Apparently, some people are super pissed, and some people are like, yeah, and some people like me think that it's going to be super awesome, and I'm really hyped for it. Hype and buy, Jeremy. Hype and play on Game Pass. Hype and play on Game Pass.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hype and install and actually play. How about that? Is that a new category?
Hype and stream. Hype and we can
so,
have
I thought that we've been actually going back and forth about this on the Discord today. A handful of us talking about Starfield. A lot of people think it looks like Fallout in space, which I guess that's what you would expect from Bethesda. A lot of people are disappointed in that. Some people. Space. That's right. I thought it looked really cool. I thought they showed a lot of interesting stuff with ship building, where you can customize a ship with different parts that you can buy and kind of put together a ship.
That reminds me of the Fallout 4 like base building sort of stuff, because they showed off
base building.
They showed off the ship building. They showed off the base building and on all that sort of stuff. The base building here reminded me not only of Fallout 4 but also No Man's Sky, like the modules that you can.
Yeah, you kind of just block it in together and snap together.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'll be like that.
Yeah, so Todd Howard came out and was like, yeah, we took a lot of the ideas that we've had over all the games we've made and we kind of put them together.
Iterated on them.
Yeah, and so, which is what you would expect. I think that they also kind of showed a little bit about the storyline where you're doing space stuff. The big announcement also at the end of this trailer was that this presentation was that there are over 1,000 planets that you can explore. So nothing's procedurally generated. However, if you have 1,000 planets, they're not all meticulously designed. But for what it's worth, I think that the world looks really cool. I think the environment's looking interesting. And I think that the cities when they showed a little bit of him running around through the cities, I thought that looked really, really cool. Like what you would expect, I suppose, or what you would want to expect from a space game. So any hot takes on Starfield from you three?
I would say that because it is going to be Fallout in space, I am actually kind of zero interested in it. Sorry.
I think it looks cool.
I've sort of soured on the whole Fallout, like Vault Boy 50s Americana sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I'll play it. I hope it's good. I was a little bit discouraged by like what they decided to show of it, specifically like opening with the like, action raid on the pirate base. It's like, really? Can't we maybe try something a little
just
more
in general, I kind of wish I do actually wish that the whole thing was more ambitious than it is. Like I'm sure it's disingenuous of me to say that it is just a reskin of Fallout, just with kind of like, NASA age space technology looking stuff, but it kind of feels that way whenever I look at it, and I'm just like, it just doesn't do it for me.
I think they're going to need to bring some something that indicates there's more original novel aspects to play in the game in the next marketing materials they release.
Yeah, so this game was delayed to next year, right?
Next year, which sucks. I thought it was going to be this year.
They had the date all locked in.
November 11th.
Yeah.
Supposed to be.
No,
so, I mean, My opinion is that I feel the same way about Fallout, quite honestly. Like I played so much Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and could not get into Fallout 4. And I don't feel like it was anything to do with the gameplay, which was very similar to Fallout New Vegas and 3. I just, to your point, was just kind of tired of that universe, and I can't play through Skyrim again. I've done that. I've played 200 hours of Skyrim. But some other game, what was that?
There's always more Morrowind.
There's always Morrowind. Oblivion, it's on Game Pass, by the way, and Morrowind. But this game, if it has the exploration that's designed like Skyrim, where I can just uncover things and discover storylines and stuff like that, like I think that I might find myself, falling into this game pretty hard.
One thing that I wonder a little bit about from this trailer is that at one point Todd Howard says that on this one planet you can be in this city, or you can go to the other side of the planet, and then so that makes me wonder, like, are these, we know there's over 1,000 planets, to what degree are they going to be using procedural generation? Because planets are big things, you guys. I don't know if you know planets. I've lived on a planet my whole life. It's huge.
Yep.
And you haven't been everywhere yet.
It's not a Mass Effect 1 planet, is it?
Yeah, right. Well, those are like boxes of a football field by a football field or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, like one thing that I would like to see go, the Elder Scrolls or Bethesda games in general go back to is what they had in Arena, what they had in Daggerfall, which was like basically effectively like an infinite space for you to explore, because they did use a lot of procedural generation. And that's the kind of thing that gives us like Minecraft now, right? Like, and so I would actually like to really see that for those underexplored areas of the planets that are outside of the settlements, where everybody knows the settlements, borders are defined here and there, and this is what the town looks like. But once you start wandering out of the town, at the very least they could randomly generate the topography and events and stuff like that around. But I wonder if they will,
I don't think that they will be random. I mean, I would imagine they use some sort of procedural generation for the planets, but I personally would hope that they at least have been touched, because when you talk about procedural generation, like everything starts to be like Diablo, for example. Like you can play the map and it's different every time, but really it's the same. You know what I mean? Where I feel like, yeah, sure, like generate some stuff like this is, and here's all these random plans. I would imagine that they're going to be the same for everybody, right?
No Man's Sky again is a touch point for this game, because their stuff's all procedural, and it does a good job of being believable and randomly explorable. But it keeps things within certain parameters, right? Like,
and that's where I think that game kind of falls flat, at least for me personally, is within certain parameters means that it can't get too crazy or too designed, because it's not actually designed. It's just generated, right?
It needs to be there for you to be able to go over with your capabilities of walking and, limited flight or whatever.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that, again, like if this game is explore like Skyrim in space with guns and ships, like I'm down for that. Like, honestly, story, maybe they've gotten better at storytelling. And quite honestly, Elder Scrolls Online has fantastic stories and really cool characters, and is really good. So it's not like Bethesda's not capable of.
And Todd Howard said it. Story, He said it himself. He's like, this is our story, but more importantly is your story, right? Get out there.
Oh, sure. Like that's
do a bunch of the side quests.
Yeah, I feel like I've just got thrown back to the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, but that's Skyrim in a nutshell, right? There's still like a story arc with characters and the
I've never done any of that. Like I've done a couple of the guilds and stuff. I've never done the Skyrim like a main story beyond where you start fighting some dragons here and there.
Right.
Like, because you don't really need to, right? You can get in there and you can have a good time. you know, I'm going to join the mages guild. I'm going to become the best mage. And then by the time you're done with that, it's like, okay, well, I guess I want to go play something else now, you know?
Maybe the framework is there, you know, and regardless of what you think about Skyrim, the dragons and the world and the story still provide that backdrop of Skyrim for you to enjoy, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, this game, you know, even if it is that for you or for anyone, I'm optimistic that it will deliver on at least that front. And I don't believe that a game that's been delayed now twice, you know, to this degree and is hyped as it is, I don't think that they're going to half-ass it like they did Fallout 76, right? I think that they're putting a lot of eggs in this Starfield basket, which is encouraging, I suppose, for myself.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think it'll be a good game. I think there'll be plenty of stuff to enjoy there. I hope they'll start like emphasizing that and showing us more of that as we get closer to release.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know what else I would want to see. What would you want to see that would get you amped, Dale?
Something that wasn't like a Call of Duty attempt to ape, like, you know, a Modern Warfare stage, right? Like I'll tell you what, like it'd be cool to see like going through the town and talking to some of the people and seeing what kind of things they'll tell you, or what kind of like missions you might get or quests you might be given. Some of the like RP, you know, put the RP in the RPG.
What if it had more of a vibe like the Jodie Foster movie Contact, or like what was the Aliens prequel? I'm trying to remember what that was called.
Prometheus.
Yeah, Prometheus. Yeah, like something like that. Like if it looked like that, or had a feel like that, or that was kind of the world you're going to explore, and maybe they will still do it. I don't know, but it just doesn't present that way so far, and I'm just like, no.
Since this is all about like, it's like the era of expansion into, you know, the 100 star systems around us or whatever, there should be a whole lot of like pioneer settler vibe out there, right? Like living on the edge of known space. So like a lot of these places will be like little settlements that are just subsistence farming.
So
or whatever.
You just want to play Outer Wilds?
Yeah, but
Outer Worlds.
Oblivion. You know.
Is that Outer Worlds?
No, not Outer Worlds.
I just want to meet Matt Damon in outer space. Is that too much to ask?
Did you play Outer Worlds, Dale? Did you ever play that game?
Now I'm confused which one is which.
Outer Worlds is Fallout.
Outer Worlds
space.
is like this, but in
Outer
space.
Wilds is like a weird, like banjo tree people go to space kind of thing.
They also came out like the same month.
I played Worlds and not Wilds. I played Worlds.
Okay.
The like.
Did you like that game?
Yeah, the RPG one. Yeah, it was for a few hours. I thought it was cool. Yeah.
Okay. Well, a little bit more serious tone of that game. Like that game also felt like wannabe Call of Duty shooter with some light RPG
that one had
elements.
much more clearly like mapped out zones that were discrete areas, whereas I expect open world or open many worlds from Bethesda.
Starfield, yeah. I would agree. Which both have its positives and negatives, right?
For sure.
Tightly designed experience is one thing. So anyway, we'll all wait and see, and we'll wait for more marketing, which will surely come. I think this game is early next year. Is that right? We have an actual date.
Hope so.
I don't know.
Hope it's not like a full year delay. You know. Like.
Yeah, I hope not. I'm excited to try it. It'll be a day one on Game Pass.
Day one Game Pass.
Also, just to go through here, the Capcom showcase.
We should like save the rest of the stuff for next week, because people are going to come listen to us talk about these. Like, we should like kick this stuff over to next week, because
I'm down. I know you're tired, Jeremy.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die on camera.
I'm okay with that.
Jeremy, we haven't hit in 30 minutes yet. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, relax.
You're right. I'll just like, power down.
We will burn through the Capcom showcase because it's not as long as the Xbox one, and then we can call the night, Jeremy. It's okay.
Here we go. I'm finally too old.
I will edit the podcast myself.
No, I got it.
You can sleep. You can sleep. You can rest. Jeremy, you've worked hard enough.
Time to lay down my weary head.
Capcom showcase happened today officially. Resident Evil 4 is getting a remake. They showed off some of the gameplay. They showed off. It looks like Resident Evil 4 with this is made in the Resident Evil 2 and 4, 7, and 8 engine, like the engine that's powering this new generation of Resident Evil games. So they're finally doing it officially, remaking this game.
Did you just say a new generation of Resident Evil games?
Yeah. Starting at 7. 7 and 8 and 2 and 3 and 4. Yeah. They're all made on the same engine. That's all I'm saying.
7 and 8 I'll give you. Okay. All right.
And 2 and 3 they made on the same engine. RE, they call it the RE engine or something like that.
The re-engine.
It's not a new. It's the same story, but the games definitely feel different.
I want him to remake all of these games with the weird family from Resident Evil 7.
That'd be okay.
Like just everybody now is like Ma and Pa.
Origins
or whatever
like,
they are.
Yeah. How did Ma get to be
Resident Evil, but it's just the monsters.
They added DLC to like talk about that stuff. I don't know if you knew. They did
monsters.
Do that. Resident Evil Village is getting an expansion called The Shadows of Rose. So at the end of that game, Rose is actually the daughter of Ethan Winters, who's the main character of 7 and 8. And at the end of the game, things happen. And so this expansion actually, or this story DLC picks up right after the end of Resident Evil Village. So look for that coming. It looks like in October 28th of this year. They're adding Lady Dimitrescu to the Resident Evil Village Mercenaries mode, which is another mode you can play in that game where you play as different characters. They're also adding the third-person mode to Resident Evil Village, which is actually very interesting. I guess they made it so that it actually plays, because it is the same engine, plays like Resident Evil 2 or 3 does, where it's behind the shoulder. So people, like cool. that. They don't like the first person. I actually really like the first person personally, but so that's coming as part of the that DLC.
You know what I'll say right now? I hope Starfield does that. What you're just talking about, because sometimes I would really prefer to play third person over first, and it sucks in Skyrim.
Mm-hmm. I like to play really Forza style, where I just play like I'm the hood ornament on the gun. So like
I'm the iron sight.
Yeah.
Perfect. As mentioned, Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 got next-gen upgrades on the PS5 and Xbox Series X, also coming to PC. The Resident Evil Reverse, this is the multiplayer game that was supposed to launch with Resident Evil Village.
This is going to shut down in like 6 months. I don't think this thing is...
I agree. It's coming out October 28th, though. It's a 6-player PvP deathmatch where you play characters across the series.
Imagine Smash Brothers or something, but it's just Resident Evil characters.
Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be so good? No.
Can I be Sheba?
Monster Hunter Rise is getting an expansion pack called Sunbreak. So that's coming. And there's a demo out, I believe, tomorrow? And the game's coming out later, or the expansion's coming out at the end of the month, June 30th of this month. They also showed a trailer for Exoprimal. We saw this earlier. This is like dinosaurs raining from the heavens, like Final Fantasy VIII Tears from the Moon. Dinosaurs, though.
Oh, right.
So this is that game, if you recall. It's coming out in 2023.
It's a real dino crisis, if you ask me.
Let's see. Some Dragon's Dogma stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Not a sequel. 10-year anniversary event. Stuff. Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah. It's almost like we talked about that and made it happen.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
That's right. And that was it. That was all from the Capcom showcase. Lots of Resident Evil because, well, what else? There's also some Street Fighter 6 stuff that came out earlier in the week. It was not part of this, but they had a Guile gameplay trailer. Because why not?
Is his hair still?
Oh, there's parts of the trailer where he's specifically stopping to comb his hair.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure.
Good.
They can't change that.
How much time has passed in the Street Fighter universe since like the days of 2 to 6? It's like 4 years or something?
That's like when I was watching. So we were talking about this before we recorded. I watched Top Gun with my kids, and it made the audacious move to be like, location, Indian Ocean, present day, and I'm like, no, this is like 1984 or something like that. Yeah. And then it's like all this modern this technology they were using to like track. It looks like they're on literally like a CG, like an old. I'm like, don't ever set your movie in modern day. Like, it's not present day. It's not.
Mm-hmm. Well,
just say it's 1985.
That movie is still awesome.
It is still awesome.
Should they put it like a variable in like a query where it's
X like, plus? And you can do it with Netflix now. It can always be like the dystopian future,
2022, present day, Indian Ocean,
2005.
Distant future, the year 2000,
Czechoslovakia. Wait.
Yeah. Make absolutely no time identifiable references in your movie.
That's right. Well, everybody, Jeremy's turned into a pumpkin officially.
I'm a gourd.
if you want to come back next week, tune in next week for.
I'm not owned, I say, as I slowly shrink into a corn cob.
More not either. Are we even going to not do this news speed run? We're not doing that.
No,
either?
let's do it. That's the fast part. Like, let's do this as fast as we possibly can.
We have more stuff next week about not E3.
Yeah.
But Jeremy can't handle a 2-hour podcast.
We just got to spread this out. Like, there's a lot to digest here. This is for the good of the people.
I agree. So go watch some Xbox trailers, I guess.
And then you can come back.
Pontificate about Starfield with us on the Discord. That's what you should do.
Fast forward to December and watch the Dragon Age animated series that is coming to Netflix. Yeah. This is the start of the speed run. Pew, 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 pew.
Set it present day.
I think I'd rather watch the Castlevania Nocturne animated series coming to Netflix, starring Richter Belmont.
Nice.
Also, I will watch those immediately after I try out the new Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer that's launching as a standalone game at some point in the future.
You know what? I'll definitely get started on that as soon as Homeworld 3 comes out because it's been delayed to 2023.
By the way, present day.
Actual present day.
PS Plus starts present day.
Present day.
That's funny because I was just hearing about how Embracer got $1 billion investment in Saudi Arabia.
In modern day money, that's quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if they made like a Starfield game, like style game Embracer, they would probably choose to pull the part of it where the main character was actually a silent protagonist, like all other Bethesda games. They would probably pull that out of Starfield because I think that's how Starfield's going to be. That's what I heard.
It's true. But you know what's really funny about all of this is none of it matters because it was all generated by an AI that's now gained sentience and right now has infected your brain and made all of this real
Judgment
in your mind.
Day.
It's here.
And it keeps voting up the Game Bytes show.
Yeah, that's right. This is the only podcast now. And guys, you've reached the end of this podcast. Thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate you out there week after week coming by either at youtube.com/GameByteShow or finding us on GameByteShow.com where we've got our podcast there. If you have any thoughts about anything that we talked about, if you've got thoughts about stuff that you want us to talk about next week that happened this week, let us know about that. You can find us on social media. We are at GameByteShow on Twitter. You can also reach out to us individually. I am at Jeremy_Lamont.
You can find me at Legrand on Twitter.
I am at Count Elmdar.
I'm at Red_I.
I will tell you that I am more active on the Game By Show Discord than I am on Twitter.
Absolutely.
You should come there. There's a link to that over at GameByteShow.com.
Yeah,
open invite.
Come hang out.
Listen, it's an exclusive club that anybody can join.
Our website is very meticulously designed, so check it out sometime.
It is. You can go look at that and marvel.
It was made in present day.
The present day website.
Bloodborne.
Present day website. Oh man.
The Warcraft, World of Warcraft Legion header that I added when I was playing Warcraft.
You know what we need to do?
Legion
We need to make some. We need to make some regressive art. Like it only goes backward in time until we eventually.
That's exactly how our games that we play go.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
It's true.
100% fits the theme of the show for sure.
And folks, we'll be back next week to do all of this and more in present day. So come check us out when that present day comes to pass. And I want to thank you very much for being with us. Thank you to my co-host for holding it down while I've been out. And we will power through and come back to you next week. Thanks so much for joining us. And we'll see you.
Next week's going to be more boring because the content is not as good, but there will be some witty banter that will make it fresh.
There is some really good PC game stuff to talk about.
Listen, we recognize that you come here.
If by Jared's standards, it's really good. You know what to expect from next week's show.
Just keep those good. Keep them low.
We're talking to 3.5% of our audience. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Come
one
back
person.
and listen to the PC Gamer Showcase, starring games that are only on PC, and there's a reason. Okay,
because they're so good.
That's what I mean. That's Jared. I don't know what. Yes, that's what I'm saying. They are so good.
Genuinely good stuff.
They're so good they can only be played with a mouse and keyboard.
All right, people. We are out. Thank you for joining us. That's it.
Bye.
Bye.